Help Wanted 2 is a game that, much like the majority of the fan base, I haven't played yet, mostly due to it being barely 2 months old at the time of me writing this. I had a lot of fun with the first Help Wanted, and it seems to be a game the fan base unanimously agrees is pretty good. So good in fact that it's the most positive FNAF game if we go off its Steam reviews. But with success comes confidence, and with confidence comes mistakes. And with such a smash hit as its predecessor, I really want to see if the apple fell too far from the tree, or if Steel War is just really good at VR titles. So let's sit down and answer the burning question. Is Help Wanted 2 a good sequel? We'll be going through each minigame one by one and ranking them accordingly, just like last time. Enough said, let's do this. Now listen, I know this is kinda goofy since we're not even in any of the minigames yet, but the lobby got a much needed improvement. It's like twice the size it was in Help Wanted 1, and you can actually do stuff in it. In Help Wanted 1, you primarily went to the lobby to select minigames, wave at your secret admirer, or go shoot hoops and eat cockroaches at the prize corner. It was serviceable, but I do believe there was a lot of wasted potential to do more with the lobby. In Help Wanted 2, you can talk to Mystic Hippo, watch cartoons on the stage, go through this very nicely stylized menu as opposed to just clicking to the left or to the right like you're ordering a Subway footlong through DoorDash. Now you're going through different organized folders and staring at the files that have the names and icons of the minigames on them. It's really fucking cool, and I appreciate the effort. Also, the stuff you unlock for completing minigames like a Carousel or Foxy's gun will start showing up in the lobby, adding this beautiful sense of progression. I know many players probably don't care about this, but I just really loved the extra effort on display here. Carousel is actually pretty good and set the bar really high. Not only does this look fantastic, but it plays well too. Basically, you're in this really dark room and you need to perform maintenance on a carousel to get it up and working again. The problem is that Moon will repeatedly try to clap your cheeks while you're trying to work. He'll start from the far side of the room and slowly creep his way towards you, row after row after row. If he gets too close, he fiddles your diddle and eats you like a bag of Skittles. You stop him by flashing him with your moon and send him back from whence he came. This one is extremely simple, but that didn't stop me from dying again and again and again. However, I'm not really annoyed by this. Help Wanted 2, for the most part, doesn't suffer from jank or bugs or anything like that. It's just built different. My only complaint here is that the voice lines Moon repeatedly says as he gets close to you isn't directional, which sounds fine, but as you get further and further in this minigame, it becomes increasingly more difficult to spot our favorite Moon emoji. The further you progress in this game, the more rows become active as Moon becomes more and more aggressive. So you'll have 3 different rows you're trying to keep track of, and you'll think Moon is behind you to your left, but in reality he's in front of you to your right, or directly in front of you. It's kinda disorienting and threw me off a few times. Also, there were some goofy moments where I'd have the flashlight beaming into his soul and he'd just ignore it and kill me. Kinda reminded me of Plush Baby from Help Wanted 1, but it wasn't nearly as annoying. 7 out of 10. Pretty solid start. Where is he? Oh. I'm dead. What? The light was on his face.
Jar, what can I do for you?
It's high noon. Bro, it's not high noon anymore, I'm whiffing! Okay, this one was actually fire, and that's because if you go into it blind like I did, you end up spooking yourself. Basically, you're sat in a boat in front of Captain Foxy. I really like his design. Your task is to take the gun Foxy gives you and shoot as many targets as possible. And, that's it. The fuck did you think I'd say? It's a basic on-rail shooter, but instead of clicking heads like you're playing Valorant, you're shooting them like you're a Chicago gang member. It's really basic, but I do like the flickering lights that happen pretty frequently. A common trend in FNAF games is that the lights will flicker and dim repeatedly right before you die, and seeing that happen so frequently got me on edge. I thought I was gonna have to shoot some sort of aquatic animatronic like Monty, or I'd have to worry about some hidden animatronic on the ceiling like Mangle or Moon. It really had me paranoid because I was expecting something, anything, but nobody came. The more I think about this, the more I see the amount of wasted potential this game has. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's an absolutely amazing minigame, but damn, was there a lot of wasted potential here. Putting these two together adds up to a decent 6 out of 10.
Tar, what can I do for you? What? Oh my god, there's a lot of you. I'm not sure I can take you all.
What did you say?
L chips is just hard. Like, holy shit, I didn't expect to fail so many times here. I really did get my fucking wish when I asked for this in Help Wanted 1. But when I imagined FNAF 2 in VR, I was expecting a truly physical challenge. One that would give me PTSD of my time working in fast food, scrambling to slam on my desk just in time as I hear the music box nearing its end. I got everything I wanted and then some. Basically, you're sat in L Chip's restaurant from security breach, and it's really cool to be able to see the rest of the Pizzaplex just sitting out there. But basically, the staff bots will repeatedly come up to the counter and order food. It's your job to make it for them before the timer hits 0. If it does hit 0, then you get brutally murdered by the chef and get grounded into whatever meat El Chip's tacos use. Or at least that's my headcanon. Why the fuck do the bots even need this food anyway? They're bots! And this restaurant looks completely empty. Who's eating this shit? Chica? Well, actually, yeah, this minigame's just fucking hard. And I'll admit, it suffered from a serious amount of jank every now and then due to VR not exactly being perfect. I originally thought the sauce gun was just incredibly clunky, which it is.
No way they're talking about my girl Chica like the please. Gun.
But I learned I just needed to press the button near the handle more directly. It still was a bit finicky though. The microwave buttons were a little inconsistent, but it was nothing like the doorknobs in Night Terrors. Holy shit, those are still so horrendous. All it comes down to is just speed and efficiency, and I'll be honest with you, I actually had to try. This was exactly what I wished for, a truly physical challenge that did indeed give me flashbacks to my time working in fast food. I'm really happy they stepped up the difficulty and are no longer held back by the limitations of trying to please VR players and non-VR players. Cheers! I died a fuck ton here, but I came out with a big smile and a little bit of sweat. 8 out of 10. Taco Bell gong.
What? You bring it, bro! I have a gun! What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? Learn my lesson?
Pizza time.
You can walk away and do it later. Me? I kinda have to. Oh my fucking god, dog. No way they just ate my pizza. Did you hear that? That stupid cupcake ate my pizza.
Triple pizza was a pain in the ass, but I absolutely loved it. Basically, it's a step up from El Chip's minigame, but instead of making whatever El Chip sells, you just make pizza and pizzeritos. That actually looks pretty tasty. The actual threat in this minigame is that Chica's goofy ass can smell the pizza being cooked from a mile away. I'm pretty sure if you shoved her fat ass in a shipping container, then shot her down the Mariana Trench, her hungry ass would still find a way back to the buffet. I swear, she's like a cartoon character. She's the type of person to float when she smells her favorite food. Cartoon antics aside, Chica is here to stay, and if you fuck up one order, then she decides, I think the pizza would be better with you in it. While we are making food for theoretical customers, I'm still baffled by why they keep coming back. Chica's greedy ass will never fail to remind you that she's the biggest bird, not just in height, but probably in belt size. Every time you complete an order, she shoves the pot out the way and feasts on it like she's never heard what food is. Sometimes she'll just say fuck you and just eat the pizza early if you take too long.
Get out of here. I should burn you. You know, Chica? Ooh, Chica. Chica, bro. Chica. I almost killed myself with that one. Alright, we need to be fast here, bro, because you're so fat, bro. This one, you should have waited for your food. You are so fat.
The timer wasn't even finished. Ultimately, I came out of food prep pretty positively, and I'd say this is a massive step up from Help Wanted 1. In Help Wanted 1, most of the truly difficult sections came from jank or finicky controls. They were still beatable. I did enjoy my time once I got over the issues, but the fact that these mini games were just hard by default, and for the most part—
Where's my ladle? Bro, where's my ladle? Genuinely, where's my ladle? Chica, did you take it? Where's my ladle? This isn't fair. What?
Where jank free is very refreshing. So while I was dying quite a bit, I never felt robbed by the game because of shitty collisions or huge oversights. Well, I felt robbed a few times, alright? All in all, doing quite well. 8 out of 10. I got my wish. Putting these two together adds up to a stellar 8 out of 10.
Chica eats salad? That's a shocker. Please be good. Ballora's Gallery, like Ballora Gallery in FNAF sister location, was so ass. Please be good. Oh my god, it's this shit. Oh my god, bro.
For your safety, please make your way to the exit.
Oh my god, bro.
Ballora Gallery is one that I was fucking dreading when I saw it was up first. Those of you who watched my Help Wanted video and to some degree my sister location video know that I absolutely hated what they chose to pull from sister location and put in Help Wanted 1. I absolutely despised Funtime Auditorium, and it was the lowest rated minigame out of that entire video. And seeing as how we had a very similar minigame right off the bat, I wasn't too excited. However, I actually quite like this one. It's very simple. Go in, crawl across the floor, stop moving when mommy is near, and by near I mean visible because she was literally across the room from me and still murked me immediately. However, while it still is pretty mundane, especially compared to the other minigames, there's still a lot this minigame does right. Thanks to this being specifically made for VR headsets and nothing else, it can fully utilize VR technology and not have to worry about screwing over non-VR users. Instead of staring at the floor, flashbanging yourself and using a joystick to creep your way across the room, you have to physically crawl, which is so much more immersive and made this game feel 10 times better than Funtime Foxy's ever could. There's so many arenas that try to touch you or whatever. I'm not really sure what they do since I didn't give them the chance to try anything, but all in all, this mini game was pretty fire. It's a shame it was so short, but I literally have no complaints. It's a beautiful adaptation. 9 out of 10. Improvement is improvement. Good job.
Oh, why have you not subscribed? Please don't say I'll have to Where? How does a giant bear just run away like this?
This minigame takes place right where the last one left off, and damn it, it is beautiful. It's basically the breaker room minigame from sister location except with a few tweaks to make it a little less clunky. Instead of lifting up a screen like in the OG sister location, you instead pull an assortment of different levers to figure out which ones correlate to which meters. The problem is that Funtime Freddy has a big issue with people trying to do their fucking job. I swear, this guy is like a pit bull when the mailman is nearby. He just can't control himself when he sees a productive human being. Funtime Freddy, jealous of your career choice, will repeatedly try to murk you as you do your job. I don't know why Bon Bon doesn't just wake up and tell Freddy he's being gaslit, but it is what it is. My only problem with this mechanic is that it's really overpowered. Like, if you just keep the megaphone pointed at him on stage and spam the voice lines, you can knock out the first row of meters with ease. Now, I understand why it's a bit overtuned, but it does kind of trivialize the first half of this minigame. I believe it's like this because if it were coded to sometimes not work, then it'd be inconsistent and frustrating and very, very aggravating to play with. So I do believe Steel Wool made the right choice in giving us some bear repellent that always works, but it's a little strong, as opposed to one that works half the time. If we're talking visuals, then this is one of the tensest experiences I've had in a FNAF game. The use of darkness in this minigame has always been excellent, but in VR it hits so different. While I was still figuring this game out, Funtime Freddy teleported directly in front of me and it scared me hard. The way the tubes and other various things around the room shake as Funtime Freddy sprints from one part of the room to another. Like, bro, whose remnant did he get injected with? Barry Allen's? Why is he so fast? Regardless, I absolutely loved this minigame and I'll most likely be playing it again. 10 out of 10. Steel Wool is cooking.
Well, go back to your stage. Oh my god! Is he gone? Oh. Okay. Sorry I asked.
I'm pretty mixed on this one, to be honest with you. Basically, it's just the secret night 5 of sister location. You sneak into the private room and Enter throws a hissy fit and tries to kill you. In sister location, End of the Night was one of the best things to come out of that game. It was challenging, it was tense, and it required a large amount of focus. But here, yeah, I was not feeling it. Like, don't get me wrong, this night was very spooky and scared me multiple times.
Is he gone? Oh! What? I pressed it! I pressed it twice!
which is more than I can say about every other FNAF game I've covered on this channel. However, this night was straight up boring. They fucking lobotomized my boy Ennard. In the OG Ennard's night, which I'll be referring to as night 6 from now on, Ennard was a smart cookie. Smarter than Springtrap if we go solely off game feats. Ennard pulled fake out after fake out after fake out. He'd run up to your door, act like he's about to enter, then suddenly he's about to leap out of the vents. He was extremely quick, cunning, and very menacing to go against. But in Help Wanted 2, bro was a fucking joke. Out of my entire time in night 6, Ennard only faked me out once. And then he got that really stupid bug that Springtrap had in the OG Help Wanted that made him continuously go down the same route. Ennard went down the left door 3 fucking times and would not let up until the very end. I get that sometimes it's about not letting your opponent know your next move, but you couldn't have put more thought into this? The vent button was a little hard to press and the dual monitors hurt my eyes a bit, but it's bearable.
I'm ready. Come on, Ennard. I had to press that thing 3 times for it to close.
5 out of 10. It's good, but it ain't beating the OG. Putting this collection together adds up to a nice 8 out of 10.
Come on over. Or not. Oh, you suck, Ennard. Okay, I think I should be onto something here. You know, I'm starting to think I'm a modern day Picasso. You know, I clearly was not meant for this generation, you know.
I actually really enjoyed this. Basically, you're in the Pizzaplex Daycare and Son, who's a lot more menacing in VR, sometimes I forget he's this fucking big, instructs us with practicing our arts and crafts skills. So we have to use this gun right here and shoot the pictures of whatever items we need. It's pretty fun. Once we get our brush and our prompt, we'll have to perfectly color the drawing based on whatever the prompt is. It's pretty basic, but it was good fun. I like the incorporation of mixing colors as opposed to just giving us more paint canisters. It makes it feel more interactive, you know? More hands-on, like mixing yellow and red to make orange or mixing blue and red to make purple. It's awesome. Also, I'm a lefty, so having the paint cans be on the left was super convenient. It's nice having a rare left-hander W. After we pour our blood, sweat, and tears into our magnum opus, this prick of an animatronic decides to shred it. Yeah, that totally won't traumatize kids. Regardless, the second part of this minigame requires us to perfectly recreate the paper pal Son's put on our monitor. We shoot the pictures of the body parts we need, and if we don't see them, we tug on this rope to re-roll in hopes of getting the necessary parts. It's a very, very nice evolution of the previous section, and all in all, it's pretty fun. After the menace himself, known as Son, shreds our paper pal and demonstrates just how cruel society is to artists, he gives us our final task. Our final job is to perfectly remake the paper pal on the monitor by rebuilding it and then coloring it in as quickly as possible. If we take too long, Moon beats our ass and gives us a permanent nap. I guess Moon really takes his job seriously, huh? I died a few times, but it was never frustrating. All in all, this one was pretty fun. 7 out of 10. I want my mommy.
I'm trying to focus here and commentate in case I want to recycle this for content. That was some brilliant Oculus lag just now. Don't think I'll ignore that. Thank you, Meta. With all your money, you still can't make a good piece of hardware. Okay, so let's be fast about this. So, brilliant. Typical Nathan. Says let's be fast about it and then is as slow as possible.
This was one of the more stressful mini games in all honesty, but still just as fun as the rest. Basically, you're in the cosmetics department for these staff bots and your job is to get them all prim and proper before showtime. Unfortunately, showtime is in a few fucking minutes from what I can tell, so you don't have time to waste. A bot comes up, you look at the screen, then hurry up and give them all the necessary makeup, clothing, and facial hair they'll need to play their part. And I gotta say, some of these combos look pretty goofy, like what the f are you starring in, Seinfeld? And if you actually mess up, they'll just sit there and stare at you. Yeah, real intimidating. I died once here and this game really does require some mad movement to get it done in time. I swear I'd be trying my best only to have seconds to spare. However, I really do question if these staff bots are entertaining anyone though. Luckily the mini game is more clear cut. 8 out of 10. I'll leave fashion to the professionals.
So you want the Roxy wig? You're quite a cosplayer, I see. You know, that wig actually does make them look really good. Oh, hell no. Now listen, guys. I'm not a furry. But
GLAM Makeover is pretty fun. I'd say I enjoyed it more than the last minigame. Basically, Roxanne needs her makeup done and a slight change in fashion. I forgot exactly what we're prepping her for, maybe because I was a little distracted, but it really doesn't matter. It's a more intense version of the last minigame, kinda like what L Chips and Pizza had going on. The catch with this minigame is that Roxanne, being the spoiled bitch she is, can't go 2 seconds without you staring at her or she'll throw a temper tantrum. It still didn't stop me from giving her the middle finger and just ignoring her for most of it.
Look at me!
what if I don't want to look at you?
Pay attention to me!
No, I don't think I will. Shut up, Roxy. Eyes front. What do you think you are, demanding me what to do, bro? Shut up, Roxy. Da. Shut up, Roxy? Roxy? Calm?
Look at me!
Shut up, Roxy. Oh my god, you're so clingy. Look at me. Look at me. My creator neglected me.
But it's pretty funny seeing how fast she gets mad. It's really not that hard, to be honest with you. It's a little stressful because of the time limit, but for the most part, it's good fun. You look at Roxy, give her some touch-ups, then she says, I changed my mind. Rinse and repeat. 10 out of 10. It played just as good as Roxanne looks. Putting these three together adds up to a stellar 8 out of 10.
Whoever designed Roxy, whoever they are, whew, they're gonna do great things in this world.
Bonk A Bon is pretty fun. It's basically just whack-a-mole with a FNAF skin on it. You see a bonbon, you then unleash your pent-up anger on them by giving them irreversible head trauma that will stick with them for the rest of their lives. Just me? Okay. Listen, I'm not a very big fan of Sister Location, okay? And after the fuckfest that was night 1 of Night Terrors in Help Wanted 1, I'm happy I finally get to give this little bastard a piece of my mind. Fuck Bonbon. All my homies hate Bonbon. Oh yeah, Helpy's here too. You're not supposed to hit him, but I tried doing a run where I only hit Helpy and I really wanted to see him get a proper jump scare. But instead I was greeted by Plush Baby?
Jump scare me, Helpy. What? Plush Baby? Just give Helpy a jump scare, for fuck's sakes. Just give him a jump scare.
Just give the little shit a chance to kill, goddammit. And no, this does not count. Oh yeah, Bonnet's here too. I hate her bitch ass just as much. It was really nice taking out some pent up frustration on her as well. Round 2 has everyone's favorite fun-sized ice cream addict suddenly appearing out of nowhere. Plush Baby is once again here to steal the show. And by that I mean get her super marketable skull caved in. And when I mean caved in, I mean caved in. Unlike the other 3 characters present, Plush Baby is a little thicker than you'd expect. It's probably all the ice cream. It takes about 3 hits to finally get her to piss off, and I assume if you leave her up for too long, she kills you. Unfortunately for Plush Baby, I despise her, so I never passed up the opportunity to give this brat some serious brain damage. She's practically asking for it anyway. Her fat ass is worth 5 points, so am I really in the wrong here? Either way, it was a really fun minigame. Super easy, but I enjoyed it. 10 out of 10. Who needs therapy when you have Bonk A Bon?
Now you're playing with power.
Hey, 2020. That's my score. I hate that year.
I feel pretty mixed on this one. This minigame is a basic shooting gallery. You're sat here next to one of the coolest palette swaps of Freddy I've ever seen, and you basically just shoot the targets as it gets progressively harder. That's perfectly fine. The problem is round 2. In round 2, you don't just have a phaser blaster, but you have to throw balls as well. And most targets require your balls, so the phaser blaster takes a massive backseat. Listen, I'm very happy they tried something new for this round, and I love innovation. Every mistake gives us a new perspective on what we just attempted. But throwing in VR sucks balls. Like seriously, I lob these balls like my life depends on it, and in this scenario, it probably does. But I just can't with these balls, bro. One moment I feel like I'm lobbing cotton balls with glue in my hands, and the next I'm tossing straight fastballs like I'm in the vacuum of space. I primarily relied on the phaser blaster because while it doesn't get as much time to shine, I still managed to shoot enough of its targets to get by. Plush Baby makes an appearance as well, but it's hardly noteworthy. I just give her a taste of the Second Amendment, slap her with my balls a little, and she's done. 5 out of 10. It's a good concept, but I didn't enjoy it that much.
Is that Dreadbear?
Music Man! I'm gonna miss you, Matt. I really will. DJ Music Time is a pretty simple memory game. You and this absolutely terrifying version of Music Man from Security Breach are making music together. Your job is to replicate his beat. You can tell what beat he's made by looking at the screen in front of you and matching it appropriately. It's pretty simple. I almost ran out of time, but I got the hang of it. Round 2 is where things get interesting. Not only is everything just a little harder, but these little music men will try to clap your cheeks while you're making SoundCloud beats. Maybe they're just jealous you're spending time with the DJ. And now that I think about it, what type of beats are we even cooking?
You are massive.
Okay. Now you try.
Check it out, I'm in the house like carpet. If there's too many heads in my cart, I'm gonna spark it out, put it in my carpet, and save it like a car.
I never really liked these guys that much. They remind me of that creepy ass monkey from Toy Story, you know the one. You grab the Faz Cam and tell them to do their best duck lips while you snap them into the shadow realm. Not too complicated, but definitely memorable. Especially when you see the model you got from it. That's a big boy. 6 out of 10. It was fun, but I won't be replaying it. I wonder what his jump scare looks like.
Hit the child, bro. Fuck you.
Hey Nico, let's go bowling! Bonnie Bowl is an amazing idea squandered by hardware limitations. It's just a simple bowling minigame. You grab balls and roll them down the track in the hopes of getting a strike. It's pretty fun in concept, but I just couldn't get it to work very well. I hit 1 strike and managed to get a spare or 2, but this is not it, Chief. I feel like I'm bowling with hot air balloons, bro. There's no tactile feedback to really judge my swing, and I just kept getting gutter ball after gutter ball after gutter ball after gutter ball. I'm perfectly okay with chalking this up to one massive skill issue, but god damn, I just couldn't get the hang of this one for the life of me. I like how Bonnie opens and closes his mouth to make it harder for any actual good bowlers who are playing this game. Unfortunately, I'm hot ass at this, so I was failing regardless. However, it wouldn't be the Fazcade if this little fuckwad didn't show her face. As you progress through Bonnie Bowl, Plush Baby will occasionally make her way onto the track and walk towards you. I guess she really wants to be a bowling pin today. Well, if she's asking, then I'll happily oblige. You'll have to strike her down with a bowling ball before she gets too close, or at least that's what I think the game wants. I'm honestly not too sure what happens if Plush Baby gets too close. I'm pretty sure she just kills you because that's what she usually does, but I didn't give her the chance to do that. Fuck it, even Moon makes a surprise appearance, and you occasionally have to flash your light at him to get him to piss off. Stay in your mini game, you prick. I'm pretty sure you're a long way from the daycare. 3 out of 10. Just because it's bad for me doesn't mean it'll be bad for you. Give it a shot. Mashing the arcade together gives us a decent 6 out of 10.
Whoa, that water's cold.
Is the room getting hotter? No, not that cake.
This one was okay. Freddy here has a birthday cake stuck inside him. I guess someone was hungry. Munchies aside, Freddy being a greedy hog is a problem because the cake he ate was supposed to be for a little kid's birthday. So you have to do some parts and service on him by thawing out his hand, replacing its batteries, popping out his eyes. And geez man, I've never been too intimidated by Glamrock Freddy, but they nailed it with this pose. Regardless, this game is pretty simple. It's a toned down version of parts and service from Help Wanted 1. I'm not saying it's bad, but I was expecting them to do a little more with this character, you know? We keep him cool, pull out his torso plate, and keep his inner coils cold. Then we finish it off by replacing the old cake with another cake. And I'm not saying the OG parts and service minigames were any better. The only one I'd confidently say surpasses this one is OG Freddy's, and Bonnie's is honestly pretty laughable compared to this if we're looking at it based on complexity. But those games get a pass because they were the first of their kind, and they were fucking amazing. Easily one of the best parts of Help Wanted 1. Help Wanted 2 is a sequel. I expect bigger and grander when I think of a sequel. And again, it's not a bad minigame, but I expected more. For what it is, it's pretty okay. 5 out of 10. Great job, Superstar.
Whoa there, buddy. Whoa there, buddy.
I need healing. Call the doctor.
Let me give him a good old staple. Why is he still coming? The ad is off! What?
I know it's getting a little negative here, but bro, I tried to love First Aid. I really did, but the game just didn't love me back. Believe it or not, when I first saw screenshots of Help Wanted 2 and YouTuber thumbnails and gameplay snippets, this was the one I was most excited for. I eagerly awaited the time when I'd eventually land on this very minigame, and turns out I don't even like it. And not because of the actual intended gameplay. Basically, you're being trained as a sort of nurse to take care of kids when they get injured or appear injured in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Helpy is your practice dummy. You look at him, scan him, and treat whatever ailments he supposedly has. This ranges from something as simple as a high temperature to something as severe as several broken limbs. If you fuck up or have to do something painful like hammering a pen into his throat, how the hell is that a cure? Or giving him a shot that helps him with his apparent rabies, he will scream, which will alert any animatronics that may or may not be in the vents. The game prefers a sort of swim or drown approach. Their words, not mine.
Entertainment uses a sink or swim training method.
Meaning that they tell you what to do via this little screen right here and how to do it. A good example of this is when you have to hammer Helpy's leg. When I first did this, I tried beating his leg into oblivion. I'm pretty sure if he was a human, I would have shattered his femur. But in reality, I had to be more gentle and lightly tap his knee like that thing doctors do when they're testing your reflexes. And that's all fine and dandy. The problem is that when you do get stuck or something doesn't work as intended, you're left sitting there for ages wondering what the hell you did wrong. Yes, I'm alluding to bugs. The game fucking broke on me. The game started how you'd expect. Helpy was sat down in front of me, I gave him a quick scan, and then the screen tells me what to do first. I put the thermometer in his mouth, he sucks on it like an exhausted baby, I scan him again, and then the screen gets stuck on the thermometer instruction. And after looking over this footage, it did show my next instructions for a few seconds there. But remember, I'm in VR. That was my peripheral vision it flashed in. I wasn't focused on it, and even if I was focused on the literal edges of my eyes, why the hell did it go back to my first instruction? And while you could say, why the hell did you scan him again? A, the devs surely should have accounted for if the player does multiple scans. I don't see why that breaks the TV. And B, this was my first attempt. I was fidgeting around with all the new stuff in this office since this game clearly isn't too keen on giving a tutorial. They said it themselves. So now that I'm stuck, I start thinking I did something wrong. So I take the thermometer out of his mouth. It reads hot. So I think, oh, I should cool him down. Because in the literal very last minigame I played, I was introduced to the temperature gun. But nope. Turns out I wasted a good 10 minutes of my life in a hopeless situation. The only reason I wasn't there longer is because I came to the conclusion that the game was bugged. And what do you know? It was. Not a great first impression at all, but surely the rest of the minigame is better, right? The first round with Pig Patch went pretty well. It's really nice seeing a member of the mediocre melodies get the starring role as opposed to being completely ignored or overshadowed by Mr. Hippo. Like, I get he's the yap god and all, but I really want to see Dreadbear get some time in the spotlight. Basically, you have to operate on Helpy without Helpy making too much noise. The issue is that many of the treatments we give him are just straight up painful, like putting a pen in his throat and then hammering it down. Like, what the fuck? Are we testing his gag reflex or something? Is this an actual treatment we do on humans? Throat goat aside, if he does start screaming, then we have to put this very calming relaxation mask on him, and that usually calms him down in no time. Pig Patch's minigame was a non-issue. Lefty's part is where it really gets tough. Much like in Pizzeria Sim, there are various ads that will attack you against your will.
Whopper, 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 Whopper. Whopper, 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 Junior.
Get out of here, Lefty. Why are you still here?
Whopper, Whopper.
Why are you still... Shoo!
As we know from UCN, Lefty is very sensitive to sound, so having the equivalent of a Burger King ad playing while you're trying to chill alongside the screams of a crying child is more than enough to ruin your day. If you let Helpy cry for too long or don't look at Lefty while he's approaching you, he'll get jealous and try to kill you. Which again, third video on bringing this up, but why does this scare them off? Especially when it's proven right here they can just ignore your eyes and brute force their way in when an ad is playing. The only thing between them viciously mauling me and me going home with my paycheck is thin air. It makes even less sense here. You'll just have goofy scenarios like them doing some sort of wiggle dance in the vents. A lot of my deaths were actually because I didn't understand that looking at the animatronic got them to piss off. And especially after the terrible introduction I had to this minigame, I started to blame the game more than myself, leading me to being less likely to evaluate my own strategies. But after thinking on it for a bit, rewatching the footage and letting that sink in, I'd say this minigame was pretty good. Will I be replaying it anytime soon? No. But you'll probably have more fun with it than I did. 2 out of 10. I've never wanted to strangle Helpy more in my life.
Oh, you are so fucked. Look what I found, Helpy.
Fizzy Faz is a fever dream to me. I'm not saying I'm tired or anything, I mean my voice is after all this recording, but when it comes to the minigames, I did ask for minigames that reminded me of my time being in fast food, but I'm kind of burnt out on the whole fast food thing. Basically, you're in the drinks department and have to create drinks according to the order that appears on your screen. The various staff bots around the facility are in charge of making ingredients for said drinks. The issue is that these selfish little workers have unionized. How dare they demand equal pay for how much work they do? They should be grateful that they're even here to begin with. Out of touch CEOs aside, these bots will occasionally go on strike and cease work. I didn't play Ruin yet, or even Security Breach for that matter, so as to why they're being influenced by the puppet is beyond me. And please, don't be that prick in the comment who spoils it. I'll get to it when the community finally lets Security Breach fucking win. Occasionally, this corrupted bot will try to barge into your office, and if it does, it's game over. It's a simple little game, but I'm beyond burnt out on fast food. Why the hell is this in staff only? For the majority of this minigame, I was just going through the motions. 4 out of 10. I'm sure I'd be a lot more positive if this was the first fast food minigame I played, but I'm kinda done with it now. Putting these 3 together averages out to a rough 3 out of 10. I'm sure this offends someone out there. The apple really does never fall too far from the tree. Just like with Help Wanted 1, Help Wanted 2 has a hard mode. After completing every minigame, Mystic Hippo tells you you're ready, and after slamming down this little thingamabobber right here, you can now take off your mask. Which completely skull fucked me when I first did this. Like, holy shit, this blew me away. The lobby was already super impressive to me, and there's a second version just sitting here? It also gave me hella creeps, because you mean to tell me we've just been walking around here in the darkness with this mask on? Makes you wonder if anyone's been watching. At least I got to see Candy Cadet up close, but I did get chills when I saw just how rusted our computer actually was. How long have we been down here? Who are we playing as exactly? Is the blob nearby? I see his hole. These are all questions that turn you into a FNAF theorist, I guess. As always, I'll let them do the heavy lifting. Accessing our terminal with the mask off allows us to access the previous few minigames that were either corrupted files or blocked off entirely due to said corrupted files. I'll be referring to these extra modes as encore stages, as opposed to hard mode levels because, well, it just sounds cooler. I enjoyed Help Wanted 1's blacklight levels for the most part, so I'm eager to see what they do here.
I know, Roxy, I know. Cry it all out. Can you at least, like... Yeah, thank you.
GLAM Makeover Encore is pretty simple. It's the same as the last Roxanne makeover, except instead of Steel Wool's perfectly concocted furry bait, you instead have Shattered Roxy. This fugly ass mangled version of our favorite narcissist. It's harder to tell what you're doing since she doesn't really have a face, and you know, now I question how she can even tell you're looking at her to begin with. She's much needier now since her facelift didn't exactly go as planned, so you have to pay more attention to her, and sometimes she'll just start hulking out for no reason. But luckily we have this handy dandy radio that calms Roxy down. Apparently the sound of her own voice is the best way to calm her down, even if she knows it's a pre-recorded message. Now that is some next level ultra ego. I died here a few times because I misplaced some of the makeup due to her non-existent face, but it's pretty simple. 8 out of 10. I can fix her. I can fix her. I can fix her. I can fix
Bro? Are you Okay.
Alrighty boys, we had a good run while it lasted. I really disliked this one. Basically, it's the same arts and crafts from earlier, except Eclipse is who's supervising you. Again, I have not played Ruin, so I can't make any super funny lore jokes, but I can say that I really like his design. Interesting designs aside, this minigame is very stressful. It's this weird mixture of the Carousel minigame and the original arts and crafts. Eclipse will repeatedly try to get close to you just like Moon did in the Carousel minigame. However, while you're trying to keep Eclipse at bay, you have to also make art in the darkness, which sounds simple enough, but your flashlight is sadly one of those shitty Pizzaplex flashlights. Why do they exist? Why do they suck so much? They're so bad! And since it comes from the Pizzaplex, it has to be recharged frequently. So you have to juggle your flashlight battery, keeping Eclipse at bay, getting all the necessary components for your art, not butchering your art, and in the first stage of this minigame, you have to balance a timer as well. I really do believe I could handle all of that. It's difficult, but not impossible. Sadly, all of the jank that's been hiding from me in Help 1 and 2 decided to collectively wait for me here.
I'm shining the light at you, bro. What? Moon! Okay.
This fucking flashlight is less trustworthy than the US government. Their dead ass will be long sections where I'm beaming into his soul and he just doesn't care. And that sounds fine on paper, but remember our shitty battery life? Even if I do stop beaming him, I barely have enough charge for when he comes closer. The flashlight recharges slower than an erection after round 3. And you could say, Nate, just ignore him when he gets to that spot. Yeah, I could do that, but a bug is a bug, and it fucked me over twice right when I was getting to the end of this shit stain. Like, I'm sure there's someone who truly enjoys this minigame, but it's stressful, it's inconsistent, and it's jank as all hell. I didn't even mention all the times I tried reaching for my flashlight only to be greeted with nothing but the familiar sting of disappointment becoming all the more numb. 1 out of 10. It tried something and it missed. I'm sure after a patch, this minigame will be right as rain.
Exotic butters.
I really wasn't expecting this one. Basically, it's the same breaker room minigame as last time, except Funtime Freddy is replaced with the ENDO. I really don't hear this guy brought up too much. I've always found him interesting, but never bothered looking him up. He doesn't even have a bonbon. Who does this guy think he is? Public nudity aside, ENDO is actually pretty intimidating. He's much more aggressive than Funtime Freddy and nearly killed me several times. The minigame is the same as last time. You grab the switches, make sure ENDO doesn't get too close, and fill up the meters. But ENDO is just a fucking beast, man. I didn't die here, but I truly felt like I should have. The amount of times where this man had me looking around the room saying, where did he go? Is far more than I expected. One moment he's across the room, then he's behind you, then he's hiding behind some servers, then he's on stage. It's fucking chaos in the best way possible. It's a really simple reskin of the previous minigame, but it gets the stamp of approval from me. 10 out of 10. Easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl. Alrighty, so this minigame is actually pretty fun, even if I died a few times. Basically, you're back in the private room, but instead of Energy, you're up against Mommy Ballora and her army of Bibibabs and Mini-Renas. There's 2 immediate threats to your success. Ballora will occasionally try to twirl her fine ass into your office to end your life, and one of her Bidibabs will repeatedly try to rush down the vent to murk you for staring at its mom. I really like Ballora. I really like this night. The background threat is that several Mini-Renas and other Bidibabs will try to suck you off as you fight for your life. As time goes on, sometimes a Mini-Rena or Bidibab will start to drain your power. You have to find what camera they're in and administer an electric shock to get them to piss off. I originally thought I could ignore them for the most part, but I actually can't. They are a very real threat and they're directly responsible for at least 2 of my deaths. I still really appreciate this. It not only fixes a massive problem I have with the FNAF series, that being that usually only 1 to 3 cameras are even used, and it also fixes a general problem I've had with Help 1 and 2's version of the private room. That problem being the absolute lack of any sort of pressure put on me from the limited power. In the OG, the power felt like rationing a bottle of water while stranded in the desert, but in Help 1 and 2 it felt like trying to ration a bottle of lemonade while at the grocery store. Even if you come close to running out, you'll probably be fine. I appreciate the shift towards a more unforgiving attitude in this minigame without making it hell on earth. 8 out of 10. I support Ballora supremacy. Okay, now we're getting a little ridiculous. Basically, you're back in the private room once again, but instead of Ennard or Mommy Ballora, you're greeted with Chica, Funtime Freddy, and Funtime Foxy. And it's actually not that bad once you get the hang of it. Also, side note, my headset strap finally snapped while recording this one, so I had a big brain idea and fixed it with some staples. For anyone suffering from shitty headset design as well, you're welcome. I died a lot here, but those deaths were mostly from experiments or fuck around and find out moments. I don't know if I made this clear or not, but I don't like Sister Location very much, so I didn't play its custom night. I don't even know if this is what the custom night is like or not. Basically, every animatronic attacks in different ways, which is a first in the FNAF series actually, and I truly applaud that. Funtime Freddy is a bit of a pussy in this minigame, and instead of handling us himself, he sends a Bon Bon out to get us instead. Bon Bon will show up in either door or inside the vent, and instead of immediately closing the door, I recommend waiting for this specific flick animation to begin, then press the button to save power. You'll hear a little thud like you're playing UCN and he'll be gone. Then there's Funtime Foxy, who behaves a lot more like classic Foxy than I originally expected. Basically, he sits in what I'll be calling Pirate Cove, and since this is Help Wanted and the cameras are on forever, it doesn't really matter if you stare at him or not. However, I recommend resting on his cam after you're aware of where every other animatronic is. After a certain amount of time, Funtime Foxy just books it and makes a mad dash for your office.
Whoa! Okay.
Anytime I'd see him leave his cove, I'd close both doors immediately and wait for him to show back up on camera. You could check the hallway cams to see which hall he's coming down, but he's so damn fast it's pointless. Bro would fucking blitz Foxy in a competition. Why do people sleep on him? Finally, we have Funtime Chica. Her entire gimmick is that she's hungry. Big surprise there. So to keep her at bay, you have to move the cupcake from the left side of the office to the right. It's simple, but honestly, I appreciate it. For FNAF standards, it's pretty innovative compared to the 500th close the door when I show up or die. But I'll still never understand why every single Chica, minus the sexy one, is associated with food. Every single one is a fat ass, and they only get hungrier with each new version. OG Chica is a goddamn saint compared to this sentient trash compactor. Holy fuck. If Funtime Chica actually makes it to your office, you can give her the cupcake and that will buy you some time. If she comes back, then start praying. You're on the menu. Again, the importance of the cameras is much appreciated here. I specifically used the cameras to try and track down Funtime Chica when I wasn't camping Funtime Foxy. Funtime Freddy is a reactionary animatronic, so yeah, he's kinda lame. Regardless of your thoughts on Funtime Freddy, this mini game was fire. 9 out of 10. Can we please leave the private room now?
Nope.
Another? What was that voice crack, bro? Another one? Like, I love the private room, but a fourth minigame in here? And unfortunately, I hated this one. Basically, you're in the private room once again. The minigame starts with Circus Baby yapping, which seems to be a standard in this series. Ever since her debut game, she's always had a knack for chitter chatter. Her
voice actress
does an amazing job, no hate, but fuck's sakes is Baby talkative. The first part of the minigame for me was red light, green light with Plush Baby. And listen, I love how cute Plush Baby looks. I love how cute and cuddly she is, and I'd probably buy a plushie of her if I didn't hate her so much. I'd still accept it as a gift though. But I gotta ask, why is she so prevalent in Help Wanted? In Help Wanted 1, she showed up a few more times than I expected, and in Help Wanted 2, she's been all over the place. It deadass feels like she's the main character. And I know her eyes are blue, so Elizabeth isn't in there, but why does she have so much importance in the Help Wanted series? I haven't played Dreadbear yet, but at this point I expect to see her there too. Ramblings aside, you shine your light at the Plush Babies to get them to stop moving. After about half a second of no light, they begin slowly walking towards you. They're pretty cute, and it's a little stressful when all three start coming at you, but it's all good. The second part of the minigame I got was hide and seek. Basically, you look at the different cameras and try to spot the various Plush Babies that spawn across the map. It's a tad stressful if you overthink it and panic, but your boy Springtrap prepared me for that. Dab me up, Willy boy. Their eyes give them away very easily, and I'm happy the monitors are so legible in VR. Not bad. The third part of the minigame I got was flashlight tag, and boy do I hate it. Basically, it's just a carbon copy of Plush Baby's minigame from the dark rooms, and I hated it then, and I definitely still hate it now. You sit in the private room and have to look around your office for where the three Plush Babies could be hiding. Once you find them, you hold your light on them for about 2 seconds and then they vanish, which sounds cool, I guess, but ignoring the fact that this is just a clone from Help Help Wanted 1's plush baby level, it just feels worse here. This minigame would be fine if you didn't have to hold your light on them for so damn long. Multiple plush babies are attacking you at once, and ignoring them for too long is a fucking death sentence. Like this moment right here where I was holding my flashlight on this yellow plush baby but was massacred by the red one. I'm 100% down to accept that right now I might be inhaling straight copium, but I really hate how this minigame felt, and it still feels more like a chore than a game. Who the fuck is asking Steel Wool for this shit? Who let them cook? Was plush baby a smash hit or something and I'm just unaware of it? Why is she practically the poster girl for this damn game? She's successfully gotten more screen time than Circus Baby, and she's in the fucking title screen! Oh, and if you die it sends you back to the start. Yeah, I'll pass. 0 out of 10. Nice one, Steel Wool. I'm just as disappointed in you now as I was back then.
You want a Fazbear flan, buddy? Looks like you've already had too many.
Another fast food minigame. I actually didn't mind this one too much. Basically, you're back in the same situation as you were in Pizza Pizza Pizza. And you know what? I'm saying it right here. We play as a fucking staff bot in food theater. Why the hell would anyone be here? The Pizzaplex is crustier than your favorite sock. I don't know who would be ordering this other than Chica, and everything here is moldy, old, and very, very dirty. And while we're on the topic of Chica, this minigame makes me feel at least a little sad. Thanks to Chica getting a premium facial from our boy Gregory, and having her throat raided and robbed of her voice box, she can't speak anymore, which is absolutely great for my sanity and focus, but it's like seeing an ecstatic puppy slowly lose its excitement for life. When she watched me make food like a hungry cat, I would enjoy responding to her comments every now and then, even if I did hate her.
Want me to starve?
Yes, I do want you to starve.
Don't make me wait any longer.
Shut up.
Pizza, pizza. Here's my pizza.
Shut your mouth.
Smells good.
Yes, I know something smells good. It's because I'm making it.
Smells good.
Shut up, Chica. Something smells good.
But now, even if she wanted to talk to me, she can't. The actual minigame itself is quite enjoyable, and again is something that would have been impossible in Help Wanted 1 without the non-VR players having a substantially bigger headache by the end of it. Basically, you prepare a much simpler menu compared to the previous minigames as Glamrock Chica watches in agony as she can't enjoy her favorite pastime anymore, getting fat. I'd say this is hard, but it was actually easier than El Chips and Pizza Pizza Pizza. It was kinda relaxing too, to be honest. Yeah, there's more menu items, but none of them involve a ladle. The popcorn is easy to make, the bars are easy to grab, sometimes it's hard to tell what drinks to mix, but overall it's pretty simple and much more chill. The game gives you way more time than you need and even refills after every order. I'm not being hounded by an obese chicken and there's no staff bot staring into my soul. It's pretty nice. The threat comes in when these endos decide they want to eat the leftovers, and if there's one thing consistent about Glamrock endos is that they're basically weeping angels. You have to balance blue balling Chica's stomach, keeping the endos at bay, and not running out of time. I actually died a few times here, but it was never from the endos. I just kept fucking up the orders. I really did enjoy this little mechanic though. It gives you about 2 orders to get a feel for the layout and memorize where everything is, and I love how tense it is seeing them get closer and closer, barely being able to tell where they are in the darkness, only being informed by their beaming eyes. You can supposedly use the fast cam to flash them, but every time I used the damn thing, it did nothing. Not like it really mattered anyway, I didn't need it. 8 out of 10. You call it hard mode, I call it therapy. I was really worried about this one. The first carousel gave me a bit of trouble and now I gotta do this? Basically, it's the exact same minigame from last time, but instead of the normal moon we all know and sometimes love, we're dealing with this fucking nightmare-fueled Jacko moon. I really like his design. The way his beaming eyes stare into your soul, it's so cool. However, it's because of said burning eyes that I believe this is so fucking easy. Unlike the original carousel, Moon's eyes shine at you like a Minecraft torch. And yes, Jacko Moon is invisible until you shine your light on him, but bro, it's impossible to miss him once you found him. Your eyes can't glaze over him like the original, and while the flashlight detection in this minigame is incredibly scuffed, just like every other Moon minigame, he's somehow more forgiving? If he does get too close to you, he has this nice grace period where he gets right in your face and just stares at you for a bit. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but clearly bro's having some second thoughts about killing me. All in all, I enjoyed my time here, but I don't think I'll be coming back anytime soon. However, for what it is, it's fun. 7 out of 10. Get fucked, Moon.
I can't blame them for beating him. I really can't. This guy sucks, bro. Cries at everything. Oh no, my head's being brutally ripped open by my doctor. And? What, you're gonna say you pay taxes too? Get out of here, bro.
Yeah, I didn't like this one. I know. What a surprise. Basically, it's the same as the first two first aid minigames, but instead of dealing with Ham Hocks or Southpaw, you have to deal with Scrap Baby. And man, she sure is Scrap Baby. Listen, the only difference between her and Lefty is that she's only slightly more attractive and a little faster. Other than that, you might as well just have Lefty here. I will say though, the way we see Helpy injured is fucking brutal. Who was my guy beefing with? Moira from Overflow? They broke his arms, took his legs, sometimes one of his eyes is just completely busted so he needs a new one, and other times his head needs to be cut open? Like what? Listen, I hate this little bundle of trash, but I want to see who's beating this boy down. And thank them personally. What did you think I was gonna say? I hate this mother. Other than the unorthodox ways we heal this little bastard, it's practically the same thing. 3 out of 10. It's cool. I know I'm probably the only one who doesn't love it, but I just did not have fun with this one. Bonk A Bon Encore is pretty simple. It's basically just a slightly harder version of the whack-a-mole clone we all know and love. Tumors come up, you beat them down. In fact, it feels like there's even more of them, so it's even easier to get points. The only thing of note here is that Spring Trap or Burn Trap, kinda hard to tell, shows up near the end, and if you hit him, you tilt the machine. Now, I died a few times here trying to get the Bonnie plushie required for one of the endings, but you'll soon find out why that was pointless. All in all, it's just more of the same. 8 out of 10. I always come back. Yep, you sure do. Encore DJ Time is a pretty solid minigame. I wasn't too crazy about the last two minigames, but this one was actually pretty fun. Oh, by the way, I found out what his jump scare is.
Oh, just kill me. Just eat me, bro.
Okay.
Just eat me, bro.
Okay.
Just eat me, bro.
Okay.
Eat me.
Okay.
Wasn't expecting that.
Go fuck yourself.
I died here quite a few times, and I definitely can feel the difficulty spike. However, I really liked how simple yet effective this difficulty spike was. Unlike the attempts at making the game harder that backfire like Jacko Moon and the Cinder Carousel, and the attempts at making the game harder that just make the game a pain in the ass like Eclipse and Arts and Crafts, Music Man's difficulty genuinely just feels like a brain issue. Not a skill issue, a brain issue. All Music Man does is add one extra detail to pay attention to, which means we only have to worry about one more button, and that one more button makes it much easier to get genuinely overloaded trying to think of everything in the limited amount of time you have left. Your brain deadass works against you in this one. On top of that one more button, Music Man now replays his songs much quicker, and your time to replicate them is much lower. It's just a simple memory game at the end of the day, but it was really satisfying to be able to come up with these quirky little phrases to remember what Music Man was cooking.
Alright, so nothing pizza. Alright, so a nothing pizza with blue and wireframe. Alright, so a Starbot in the city with Final Fantasy and cars. Alright, so Bubbly Freddy in the void with missing textures and goat cards.
Oh, and the mini Music Men move faster, but I found that just spamming the camera in the pattern left, middle, right keeps them at bay nicely. 8 out of 10. Tell him to bring out the whole ocean. Tell him to bring out the lobster. You ever play rugby? Tell him to... I straight up hated this one. 1 out of 10 off rip. Basically, it's FAZERBLAST, but you now have the FAZERBLASTer, some balls, and the dart gun. And I'll be a little positive here at the start. I loved the frantic feeling of switching between different weapons and getting nice shots with them. I loved the moments where I actually hit my balls. What did he say? Also, I'm tired of seeing this pint-sized prick in every minigame for fuck's sakes. There's a really cool section where you play FNAF 1 with the FAZERBLASTer while fending off Plush Baby and popping balloons, which was really fucking cool and bumps this minigame score up to 3.2 out of 10. But man, I just didn't like this one. I'll just take the L on this one and say I'm terrible, so ignore my opinion for this one. You might enjoy it more than I did. 4 out of 10. I get that my opinion will be heavily skewed here because not only am I incredibly burnt out from seeing plush baby and being in shooting galleries, but I really dislike the fact that there was yet another FAZERBLAST stage. However, I'll admit this one's pretty cool. You get to play FNAF 2 through the shooting gallery by finding animatronics and killing them by popping their balloons. You also have to keep the puppet wound up while plush baby tries to eviscerate you. It's cool and all, but all my problems still apply. I still throw like an orangutan suffering from a Charlie horse. Plush baby still exists, and I'm personally still drained from these minigames. The set pieces are cool, the way you interact with it is cool, but I'm just not vibing with it. Also, the next minigame is locked because I need to get the plushie for this level, and I'll save that for when I go through every FNAF game and tie up any loose ends I miss. If you like this minigame, no hate to you, but this just isn't my cup of tea. I actually really enjoyed this one. Last time I played Fizzy Faz, I was under the effects of a tetanus shot, so that probably affected why my overall experience with it was so low. Just to pick up the Passionate slack, I'll re-explain everything. Basically, you're in the bowels of the Pizzaplex and have to create drinks according to the ingredients on the screen. There's protein, acid, caffeine, sugar, and salt. Because some people really love the taste of salt water. Unfortunately, these workers love to go on strike, so you'll occasionally have to check their cam and reboot them when they slack off. How dare they demand equal pay? If they're not making enough, you can always just threaten their wife and kids and that will speed them up just fine. It's a little stressful when they keep failing repeatedly, but I definitely felt more engaged this time around because 1, I'm not at 30 HP from a tetanus shot, and 2, it was actually challenging, so it forced me to pay attention to what was happening and not just do the thing. 7 out of 10. I'd rewrite the original Fizzy Faz section, but if someone gets angry at it, I know they didn't finish the video, so point and laugh.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
I died a lot here, but I still had a lot of fun. L Chips and Triple Pizza's recording date was about 4 days apart from when I recorded this minigame, so that's probably why I'm not so burnt out on taking orders anymore. Regardless, it's still more of the same. You take orders, you do orders, embody the spirit of capitalism, and keep the wheel turning. The only issue is that this fat fucking rotisserie chicken somehow found her way down here and is obsessed with the ingredients. Chica spawns in the trash, where she belongs, and as you go about your work shift, she'll occasionally barge into the workspaces of the other workers and stall their production. If she's in there for too long, she'll occasionally touch the ingredients and contaminate them with her disgusting trash germs. So you'll have to dump the entire batch because apparently it has syphilis and make it all over again. You can lure her back to the trash by dumping products, but I didn't really bother doing that. It's pretty simple, but I am happy Gregory gave her that facial. Fuck this mechanical tub of lard. I am sick of her eating literally everything I make, bro. 6.9 out of 10. It's the same thing, but again. Guess what? It's the same thing, but slightly harder. I died here like twice. Everything fails constantly, but I don't know what you want me to say about this one. Yeah, I got nothing. 5 out of 10. You can't just give me the same minigame 3 times in a row and expect me to be all sunshine and rainbows. At some point, it just starts to feel like padding.
Please, bro. Oh, I hate these unionized workers, bro. Fuck. Woo! Final minigame! I'm so tired. This one was pretty stressful. Tell me something new. Basically, you're in the endo zone from security breach and have to properly educate this newborn endo so that they'll someday be prepared to possibly someday be the next Freddy or Bonnie or this fuck. The issue is that all these other endo really want some extra time in study hall and will repeatedly try to murk you while you're tutoring your students. So you'll have to look at the screen beneath you, quickly memorize the cards, pair them up based on the background, and flash the endos away if they get too close. This mini game was insanely stressful. You don't get much time to memorize the cards, the endos are really hard to see in the darkness and sneak up very quickly, and messing up 3 times seals your fate. It sounds simple, but trying to memorize the majority of these cards in the 5-second window you're given before the endos spawn, and trying to mentally keep track of where all the endos are while you're matching cards is really tricky and very tough. And the giant virtual hands we're given sometimes presses the wrong things, which fucked me up about twice. 7 out of 10. It's very difficult, but hardly feels unfair. And with that, we're all wrapped up. Oh my
god. However, I'm not done yet. Basically, there's an ending to Help Wanted 2 you get after you collect a bunch of plushies by doing a few out-of-the-way tasks in a handful of minigames. Then you access this Princess Quest arcade machine to beat down Afton, or something like that. I'm not going to be doing that in this video. As I stated earlier, I'll most likely clean up everything I missed in every FNAF game when I come back around and do a video covering just that. However, I still have done 98% of the game, so still, I believe my opinion is valid enough to stand on its own. While I haven't completed this game 100%, I do believe it's FNAF's best sequel. Traditionally, what is a video game sequel supposed to do? I believe that generally it's supposed to be an all-around improvement, even if it doesn't expand on the story from the last game very much. Of course, many games have failed to do this, like Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, but at the time of me writing this, I don't believe Help Wanted 2 is one of them. In fact, I'd go as far as to say Help Wanted 2 did the most improving of any of the past FNAF games, while keeping downsides to a minimum. In my recent months of covering every FNAF game, I can definitely tell you that FNAF is full of trade-offs. You can't have a game that excels in one aspect without completely downgrading another. FNAF 2 greatly improved on how quick and responsive the gameplay was. FNAF 3 improved on map design and definitely stepped up mechanics-wise. FNAF 4 greatly improved the atmosphere and story of the series. FNAF 5 expanded more on unique mechanics and leaned more into a minigame-esque approach. Not to mention, out of every FNAF game, Sister Location has the most self-contained story. FNAF 6 leaned super far into the minigame aspect of Sister Location, and it paid off fantastically. And many people applaud that game for the extremely memorable ending it gave us. UCN controls the tightest out of every classic FNAF game, and the sheer speed of the inputs you make in this game proves my point. And then we get to Help Wanted 1, which is basically a soft reboot for the series. I don't even know if the past 7 games I mentioned are fucking canon anymore, which is one of the reasons myself and many others tend to cut FNAF here and bundle all Scott's games together in one bunch and all of Steelwolf's projects in another. Going back to the classic games, all of them drastically succeeded in 1 to 3 aspects while completely butchering others. I swear, FNAF has mad monkey paw syndrome, because for every step forward, there's at least 2 steps back. FNAF 2, I know I mention this every video at this point, but FNAF 2's gameplay may be quick and responsive compared to the OG, but why the fuck does it matter? The camera is used for one thing, and that's the music box. The mask is cool, but if you boil down every animatronic and only look at the gameplay, you'll notice you're only dealing with 3 hyper-aggressive animatronics. One animatronic attacks you through the vents, and sometimes down the hallway. Another animatronic is immune to the mask and can only be stopped by the flashlight. And the third animatronic is just the puppet. If we do the same thing in FNAF 1, we get the same amount of animatronics. Bonnie and Chica are costumes of each other, so they're the same animatronic. Freddy is his own animatronic, and Foxy is his own animatronic. I guess you could count Balloon Boy, which would total it up to 4, but when the cast has literally doubled in size and then some, it's a bit lackluster to get such a minuscule increase of mechanics between games. FNAF 3 is still one of the creepiest games in the series, and it experimented with a lot of mechanics, especially compared to FNAF 4, but more on that later. FNAF 3 had audio lures, ventilation, hallucinations, actual vents, an extremely intricate map compared to the previous 2 titles, and lots of dark nooks and crannies that complemented the big bad excellently. The problem is that the big bad was singular, not plural. Springtrap being a crusty old man with a bunch of animatronic shaped farts to help him was scary at first, but it didn't last. 70% of the game is you staring at Springtrap on the brink of falling asleep, and the other 30% is you desperately searching for him so you can go back to sleep. FNAF 4 had some amazing head game.
What do you mean by that?
And by that I mean it got into the player's head beautifully. But it's just FNAF 1 again, except you use your ears for most of it and not your eyes. You barely even see the animatronics either, which works for building tension, but leads to a game that's not only incredibly boring to watch, but once you're no longer scared, it arguably becomes even more boring than FNAF 3. Sister Location is an enormous headache of a game. It's experimental, and I'm happy it exists, but holy shit, the majority of it was either complete tedium, ass-blasting difficulty, or crawling through dark rooms. There's a lot of good in Sister Location, don't get me wrong, but it's few and far between. 60% of Pizzeria Sim can be sidestepped entirely, and The Office never really clicked with me, to be honest. You could go entire minutes just staring into the fucking vents like you're waiting for the void to wave back at you. It was a slog to get through, and I don't care how beloved the ending was. The Office was not fun. Well then don't play The Office, just skip it. Skipping is not a valid excuse. I get that fun is subjective, but The Office in this game flows like quicksand. It feels fucking awful, and the mechanics in this game genuinely feel like they flip a coin when they want to work. Yes, I know you can look at a video to get an understanding of the AI, but why is that acceptable? You can get through nights 1 1 through 5 of the first 4 FNAF games just fine without popping open the hood to see what's happening. Why is this game special? And for UCN, I'd argue its RNG is just downright unforgiving, far more than any previous FNAF game. Another person could argue back and say, isn't that the point? Which is a valid rebuttal. Depending on your stance of this game, you could dislike it for a lot of reasons. The single camera fallacy, its brutal RNG, its terrible jump scares. These are all valid critiques of UCN, but in all honesty, I don't think anyone really cares, myself included. It's definitely the closest we've gotten to perfection in the classic FNAF games, and its non-existent price tag makes it pretty easy to excuse, but it's by no means flawless. Help Wanted 1 was a huge turning point in the series, but it was held back for a lot of reasons. The main one, in my opinion, is that they tried to cater to both VR and non-VR players at the same time. This led to them having to build their mini-games in a way that would be fun and playable for VR players and fun and playable for non-VR players. And when you're trying to build a game around a group of players whose entire field of vision is controlled with one hand, in a game that's aimed at a group of players who can do multiple tasks at once without even looking, you run into a pretty big problem, and a massive cap on your creativity is formed. This is why I believe Help Wanted 1 was so easy. Their FNAF 1, 2, 3, and 4 recreations were all leagues easier than the actual games. Not even their blacklight variants were very difficult. However, I will say I haven't played FNAF 4's blacklight variant yet, so for all I know, it could be the hardest thing since getting over it. This is where Help Wanted 2 comes in. Not only being a numbered sequel to the original Help Wanted, but it also does everything better than the previous, and the game is easily much harder than the last.
In Help Wanted 1,
ignoring a few of the blacklight stages, the majority of the minigames were incredibly easy. The only ones I remember being truly difficult were Plush Baby's minigame, Ennard's Vent Repair, and Nightmare Yone's minigame. But here, bro, I'm sweating every other minigame. El Chips, hard. Triple Pizza, hard as fuck. Daycare, stressful. Literally both Salon minigames, stressful. I think you get the idea. This game is actually pretty challenging, and while that may sound unfun to some of you, it made the game hella engaging. More times than not, I actually had to focus and apply some sort of effort to the task at hand, rather than just going through the motions. I really enjoyed my time here, and I'd say Help Wanted 2 really stepped it up. I first realized this next point when I made it to Ballora Gallery, but this game really took advantage of the medium it occupies. This game makes full use of VR's capabilities in a way that Help Wanted 1 can only dream of, physically crawling across the floor in Ballora Gallery as opposed to the tedious slog that was Funtime Auditorium, requiring us to physically stare into Roxanne's not-so-loving eyes while we do her makeup. The sheer abundance of minigames that require two hands like Triple Pizza or FAZERBLAST. This is Steel Wool at their peak, unhindered by the shackles of trying to accommodate multiple mediums of play, and seemingly not rushing while making a product. They knew the hardware, they knew the mission, and goddammit, they met it. I love Help Wanted 2, and it's deadass just a 100% upgrade from what we had last time, and for now, I'll die on that hill. The only real complaint I have is the amount of repetition this game has once you take the mask off. Listen, I loved how every private room minigame was different, but did we really need 3 back-to-back? Did we really need 5 Fizzy Faz minigames? Did we really need 3 DJ Music Man levels? Does Help Wanted 2 really need this many FAZERBLAST levels? It got on my nerves quite a bit, and at some point it just felt like padding. Kinda zapped all the excitement out of unlocking new minigames too, because deep down part of me would look at these folders and say, can't wait to play yet another nearly identical version of this same minigame. It got really annoying, and I'm not saying the sequel is perfect, I just think it's the best so far. There's plenty of room to keep growing, and I can't wait for Help Wanted 3 when we get Steel Wool's take on UCN, Help Wanted 1, and FNAF World. Woo! I'm so tired. Either way, if you want to say hi or just had any comments on what I said today, oh my voice is leaving me, fuck's sakes. Either way, if you want to say hi or just had any comments on what I said today, please share them down below. Consider subscribing or becoming a channel member if you really love my content. And as usual, I'm terrible at outros. Woo! 54 fucking pages! Woo! We're closer to 100 than we are to 0. Ain't that a treat?
Babe, please, you're not Freddy Fazbear. Stop saying